If you hear a bunch of weird pig snorting sounds, it's because Jub's right at my feet, and she's eating her favorite toy. Hello, Reapers! My name's Scythe, and we are back again for some more. Wait, what is it? This? Trove. Pew, pew. I should have lasers actually come out of my eyeballs. By the way, you know what I've noticed since I ended up finally, more recently, going on not only the Xbox version of Trove, but now on the PS4, frame rate seems to see a big, massive improvement. Like, maybe it's since, like, the last big update or something. It's probably actually been quite a while since this ended up happening. But is it just me? Like, we seem to almost be running Trove at 60 frames on the PS4, which is quite surprising because on the console versions, they're usually, like, so gross, you know? I mean, I know it's always been more stable on, like, the PS4 version than the Xbox version, but still, it's really, really nice. So the new hub seems like it's almost, if not completely done, by the way. Oh, it's not completely done. Well, a lot of it seems to be done, just from what I could tell. Maybe Lilith hasn't been working on it that much. I'm not exactly sure what's been going on with the PS4 community as much, just because, again, they don't really come to the Discord, which, unfortunately, like, the big reason, I want to talk about this clearly, if the PS4 officers do end up actually watching this video. It's not that I'm like, oh, they have to be a part of the Discord community, they have to be a part of it, or anything like that. Most of all, it's the fact that that is kind of where I get most of the information of, like, new changes and stuff like that. So when they're a part of the Discord, it means that I get to just generally see not only comments from them, but comments from people talking with them. And I get to see all of that stuff as I'm, like, editing or busy with stuff like that. Maybe I don't necessarily get to reply, but at least I get to see the comments, and thus I kind of know what's going on with the club, how the community is faring, and everything like that. Because otherwise, this, I don't know. Like, it seems like we've seen quite an improvement in the main house area here, and nice little details in some of the side stuff. Maybe the main structures are just what it's about, because I'm noticing that a lot of them do seem to be completed for the most part. But at the same time, you know, we just went into that house and we didn't end up seeing a proper floor setup or anything, which, again, that most likely is just because it looks like all of this other stuff is done. Like, I don't know, it just kind of seems like it's been worked on quite a bit since the last time we ended up coming here, but has it? Has it really? No, really, I don't know. Like, somebody tell me, help me. But there has been quite a few updates with Trove in general. I talked about this in my PC and Xbox video as well, but there is going to be, the next big update is planned for March. Don't know whether or not that's actually going to end up happening, though, because, I mean, they even said that's kind of the deadline that they want, but they're not sure they're going to end up doing it. These portals are all over the place. Like, seriously, we have a U9 portal here, then we suddenly have a U7 portal, which apparently we can actually enter U7, but I don't think we should, because I'll probably end up dead. U5, that's more my speed, right? We should be able to handle this. Honestly speaking, I don't even think we've ever gone into an elemental world on the console version, or at least not much, just because of the simple fact that I don't grind. I don't need, like, gem dust or anything, because I don't bother actually building up my character or anything. You can even see right there that I have the place 20 blocks quest going on, which I probably won't even get that done. Rip. Just because, you know, it's not that I'm, like, against leveling up or anything. It's just, I've talked about this before, but I feel that I need to talk about it again, just because of the fact that it's been such a long time since we ended up having a proper, like, episode. Whoa, that volume is a little bit loud for me. I mean, I have to make sure it's low enough in editing. But console kind of has always been secondary for me. It's not that I don't play it, you know. Lots of people always ask, like, I don't know why. It's always asked. Like, I'll stop console for a week or two, and then suddenly everyone's like, did you quit console? Are you ever gonna do console videos again? And it's like, yes, I am. It's just they're gonna get out when they get out. That's kind of something that I ended up changing, not only with myself personally, but just my approach to my content and the channel and everything like that. I had a vlog video a couple months ago where things were getting a little bit too stressful for me, trying to keep up with a regular upload schedule. So now I just kind of have it where I just put up a Trove video at least once a day for the most part. Sometimes I just don't end up having a video, and thus I'll usually do a live stream or something else instead, right? But I try to have it so that Trove is at least every day, and then the other games I just kind of have. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that I have a Trove console episode every week. It just means I have Trove every day, right? Because people always kind of mix that up and wonder, well, where's the Xbox episode? Where's the PlayStation episode and stuff? And it's like, those are kind of when they're done, you know, like when it's ready. And you know, whether or not that ends up, you know, taking a hit towards my channel in general, which I think it did. I think slowly over time, people are starting to adjust to it, though, and be okay with it. Because otherwise, when I first started doing it, I did notice that, you know, there was a lot less people on the channel and a lot less hype around things and stuff like that, because I wasn't working as hard at having regular series and stuff like that. But I myself personally feel a lot better about it. I feel a lot less burnt out, and ultimately I feel that it's a lot better for the long run of me doing YouTube in the years to come, rather than acting like my channel can die tomorrow, you know, because that's kind of that fear-based mentality that I guess I've kind of been retiring and getting rid of, since the fact that my channel is actually like, I'm already big enough that I'm making a full-time living off of YouTube. Anything beyond this point is just a blessing, right? And even that, like, even just being able to do YouTube for a living, like, I've got the greatest job ever that I absolutely love doing, and I can't complain about it in any way, shape, or form, right? And because of it, it's like I'm perfectly content with where things are at right now. And that's kind of why I guess I'm just having a more relaxed approach towards the whole thing, and just kind of thinking more towards, well, how am I going to be able to do YouTube for a longer amount of time without getting tired of actually doing it? Because I don't know, maybe a way that I could put it, but it might put people, you know, put people off. Maybe they'll misunderstand, but who cares? Is that I'm not really as desperate, if that makes sense, you know? Pirate Dragon. That said, you know, I'm still working really hard at sustaining my videos and stuff like that, don't get me wrong, and trying to come up with new things that are going to excite and interest all of you fine, beautiful Reapers out there. But it just means I'm not pushing myself to, like, being exhausted and not wanting to play Trove anymore. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to be clear about that. I know I kind of rambled about it a lot longer than I needed to. Why is this guy not dying? Like, I know he's... Oh, man. I didn't know he had those turrets. Whenever I fought this guy on the PC version, since he came out of the game, I always killed him, like, super duper quick. So I never really got to see his special abilities. So it's really interesting that he actually throws down a full-on turret that is actually unique. It'd be cool if there was a dragon-themed pirate tamer costume, wouldn't it? I think that would actually fit very, very well. Look at this. That's pathetic. Like, my cornerstone has not changed on the console version, because I'll openly admit that I like, building in general, I find really difficult with Trove, let alone trying to do it on the console version with a controller. Like, I don't like it. I don't want to do it. I'm sorry to say, but whatever. You know, I'll leave that up to the professionals, everybody else. I like just building my little builds on the console version. Can you please just get up there? Jeez, sometimes this game, like the corridors and stuff, that's the big thing. Like the dungeons, I know we've talked about that in the past, but seriously, they really got to make these dungeons bigger for the fact that the console version, you know, we can't really adjust our camera. Can you? Can you adjust the camera on the console version? I think you can, because I'm pretty sure you can actually plug a mouse in. And I think you can actually play Trove on console with a mouse and keyboard. It's really, really laggy and broken in a lot of ways and doesn't work, but I'm pretty sure it does. Oh, by the way, I always love this part of this dungeon. You see how in the water it looks like it's reflecting into the water, but that's actually the dungeon itself. Like, there's just a lower floor to it. I don't know. Like, I just been thinking lately about, like, how they could visually improve this game and water reflection on the surfaces and stuff. I just think this game would look so cool having these light touches in visual fidelity, right? But I mean, we're talking about a game where only now I'm starting to notice that we're getting good frame rate. And if they ended up adding any of that other stuff, it would probably just make things a whole lot worse. Which, speaking of improvement towards the game, the devs have actually talked about the Adventurine and how they're going to end up changing that system. Refer to my last PC episode. That's where I ended up talking about that in more detail. And then also they're saying how they're trying to improve, always trying to improve on the crashing of the game. Nothing mentioned about the servers, which they are doing a lot better right now. I want to be clear about something though, because lots of people are always like, oh, they fixed all the server issues. No, they didn't fix the server issues. What usually ends up happening with Trove is whenever a big update or a patch or an event comes out, lots of people start playing the game, and the servers themselves, they suck. Like, they honestly do. They're really, really bad. They're built on a very old system, which, I mean, the game itself is built on a very dated game engine in general that, honestly speaking, I don't think even exists anymore, or at least the music aspect of it does. Lots of parts of Trove are very, very old and cheap. Ultimately, they were trying to build this game cheap back when they were first designing it, because the CEO or whoever up top didn't actually think this game was going to be successful. An online multiplayer voxel game not being successful. Like, clearly somebody does not know video games very well. But in any case, with the game being built on an old system, it means that the servers themselves are actually on a very old system. And when live events and stuff like that end up coming to the game, it means that the game can't comprehend the amount of players that are actually going on, and thus the servers end up just exploding. So as of right now, why aren't we dealing with any lag? Because nobody's playing this game. You know, like the player base has died down to a degree where we're actually getting pretty good ping, just because there's not really any events. Nobody's grinding the Renewus event anymore. Nobody generally seems to care for that one, despite the fact that it does give you free wings. I'm not exactly sure why not many people were into that event. Most of all, I think it's because everyone's going back to school and all that stuff. Good luck, kids. That's all I gotta say. And then just the fact that there's not really any talk about the next update, unfortunately. Like, that, just in closing, that's one thing that I personally really don't understand about the Trove devs, is if you ever do catch one of their live streams, you know, usually I'll end up summarizing what they're talking about and stuff like that. And I want to give a shout out to not only Mark, but there's a guy on the forums who usually ends up summarizing the big questions that the devs end up talking about, which makes my job easier, because then I can just look at that rather than having to siphon through hours of dev footage to actually find out if one or two of these questions were actually answered. But not to say that I don't watch their live streams every now and then when I have the time, but usually I'm, I don't know, like asleep or out when they end up doing their streams. In any case, one thing that they are absolutely obsessed with is the idea of not giving spoilers, which to me, isn't that kind of like self-defeating? Because it's like, one of the big things that you should do, especially being the developer of a video game, is you should be talking about new things, because that's to get hype around it. And as of right now, we don't have any information about what the next big update's going to be, outside of the fact that it's probably going to be focused on Adventurine and hopefully making the quest system a lot better than it is. And then otherwise, there's nothing said about the new class coming out. So I think that means that it's safe to say that the class coming out in 2018 is going to be either in the second or third big update of the year. Usually Trove has 3 or 4 big major updates planned for the entire year, and then everything else is just kind of little small events and stuff like that. So there, now you know, right? But in either case, that's all the time we have for today. I gotta get on recording a whole bunch of other things. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. Very much appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe for more daily content. That's also gonna build up loyalty points to my merch store. Links are in the description for that, where you can buy this shirt and a bunch of other stuff. And then for the fans that want to go the extra mile, you can donate to me for absolutely free with Gawkbox. Check links in the description explaining that, and be warned that most European people are not going to be able to take advantage of that. I don't know why. Sign over and stay epic, everybody.